on dates, like they would approach me at bars. But now that I've been single for the past year, I feel like confident in myself. I feel better in how I look now. And I think I have an interesting life now. Like, in order to be interesting, you have to have interests. No one's approaching me, you guys.
They disappeared, and women are in shock. It's not shyness, it's not lack of interest, it's strategic retreat. While women ask, why isn't anyone approaching me? Men are calculating risk, rejection, and humiliation. Today, you'll understand why female confidence rose and male initiative died.
I just taught a yoga class at Equinox, and one of my students came up to me later in the night at the gym. She was like, oh my God, I completely missed your class this week, but I really wanted to take it. And then we got into such a good conversation. Somehow it becomes about dating. And we were both talking about how it's so annoying how men don't approach women at the gym. And I feel like this can go one of two ways. And I get why men are hesitant to approach women at the gym, because it's like, what if you keep seeing each other and it doesn't really go anywhere? Is that awkward? Whatever. But like, the gym is a perfect environment. You're not at the bar. It's like you've common interests. Maybe you live in a similar neighborhood, or you're in a similar neighborhood at the same time. Like, you're all working out. Like, everyone looks hot. Like, why are men not approaching women at the gym and just being normal about it? Like, we should make the gym more of like a community vibe, you know? Like, even when you go to workout classes, people are in, out, on their phone. Like, no one is like building connection. So it was so nice that this girl just came up to me and started talking to me, and she was my student, and I actually got to know her. And then we got to bond over the fact that like men are not coming up to women at the gym, or just in general in life. And I know it's not just me that's feeling frustrated by this. I know it's not just me. There are so many women that are like, WTF.
Her frustration reveals the loss of safe social spaces. Men know the gym has become a sensitive zone where one wrong move can lead to complaints, embarrassment, or going viral. Even when women want to be approached, the system around them screams danger. The problem isn't lack of interest, it's too much risk. Men used to be encouraged to start. Now they're trained not to bother. The result is a social desert. She wants spontaneity in a place that punishes it. Until that changes, eye contact will keep replacing words.
Like, so admirable in this day and age to actually have the nerve. Guys, by no means is this an open invitation for you to be in the comments being like, well, when I was 13, I had an unpleasant experience with approaching a woman, so I'm never doing it ever again. I'm only doing it behind a screen because I don't have to risk being like called weird. Guys. Or how about, but I'm ugly, I don't make 200K a year, I'm not 6'3", like, guys, come on, like, touch some fucking grass. Like, I promise you, going up to a woman at the grocery store saying, hey, I think you're pretty, can I get your phone number, is not the scariest thing in the world. Even if it is an unpleasant experience and an unpleasant experience happens again, okay, that's exposure therapy. You got rejected, whatever, on to the next. Like, I know this is such a corny, overplayed saying, but you really got to conceptualize the idea of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Seriously, you guys have no idea how many doors would open for you if you actually had the fucking balls and had the fucking, like, confidence to just see it through. You never know what the other person's thinking. Women by default are usually the ones who are like in captivity or whatever, and the men are supposed to go out and like make the first move. That's like how it's always traditionally been. That's how it's worked for like hundreds of years. Like, oh, but radical feminism nowadays, blah, blah, blah. Guys, that's, again, I'm talking about real life, not on the internet, not the Instagram reels you see of like those streamers with ring lights having very unpleasant interactions with like girls on the strip of the bars who are drunk and like being mean to them. Like, we're not gonna bite, right? I'm just saying, if this doesn't apply to you and you want to die in the hill that you're only gonna reach out to women behind a screen, go ahead. I'm just saying it's way more memorable, way more genuine, and way more respectable from a woman's point of view if a man approaches me, especially in a sober setting where there's no liquid courage involved. It's very admirable, like, it really is. And if you don't want to do that, by no means do you have to. So
she talks like men still live in 1995, ignoring the modern social cost of getting it wrong. Today, a simple hi can become a screenshot, public shaming, or even an accusation. When she mocks fear and insecurity, she shows zero empathy for the risks men face. Courage doesn't grow in a hostile environment. The issue isn't lack of guts, it's too much punishment. Women demand initiative, but often reward mistakes with contempt. So men choose silence. That's not cowardice. It's emotional and social risk management.
I've also been getting a lot of comments like this, and it drives me insane because it is not true. No matter how many people on this app are going to be like, well, no, you have to be attractive to approach. No. And this is exactly what I mean by it not being true. So I was at a coffee shop the other week and a guy came up to me and approached me and we started having a conversation, and it just so happened like we ended up sitting next to each other. 2 hours went by. Was I like feeling butterflies in this conversation? Absolutely not. Was he an objectively, attractive person? Maybe someone would say yes. There were certain things about him that were attractive, like he was well dressed, clearly took care of himself, was a good conversationalist. I was not attracted to this person, despite having a nice conversation. And I'll give myself credit for like not being a bitch and being like, I'm not gonna sit next to you, or just being like standoffish with him trying to make a conversation with me. Like, I'm not gonna do that because I'm not gonna treat someone with disrespect. Like, he clearly put himself out there to be kind and friendly for no reason to me. I mean, clearly his reason was to hit on me, but good for him for putting himself out there. Like, my lack of attraction to this person should not stop him from doing this to other women in a kind and respectful way. And, I'm glad I had the 1 to 2 hour conversation because it was nice to get to learn more about a new person and be curious. And so I think a lot of women don't do this, and they should be doing this, because when they don't do this, they make men feel like shit. And I know if I was a guy and I was rejected constantly, I'd feel like shit. So we need to teach women to not be bitchy to men who are just being kind and putting themselves out there. And men need to get this narrative out of their head that it's only the attractive ones that should approach, and then, they get the girl, because it's just wrong. It's literally just wrong.
Her story shows exactly why many men gave up. You can be polite, well-dressed, kind, and interesting, yet could then still be invisible. She was respectful, but the message remains. Effort doesn't guarantee desire. Men are tired of spending time, energy, and courage on a low-odds game, when the emotional return is almost always, you're nice. But no, the brain learns to stop trying. It's not that only attractive men should approach. It's that the cost of trying has become too high for the reward, so they choose their peace.
I'm all for women's rights and girl power, but we'd be lying if we thought it was not changing the landscape of dating. I can't tell you how many guys I've gone on dates with that are worried about opening a door for me because I might get offended. Literally, a guy had a girl get offended because he did that for her. Guys don't want to ask for our number. They don't want to pick us up for a date. They question whether or not they should pick up the tab because they're worried that women are going to get offended, because some women out there get offended. So if you're the type of girl who wants to pick up her own tab, does not want the guy to open the door for you, then that's your prerogative. But don't mess it up for the rest of us who like a guy to be a gentleman and actually want to treat us well and open the door for us and do all those chivalrous things that are dead. Maybe there should just be a separate app for the women who want to be super independent and do their own thing, and then a separate app for the rest of us who want men to be genuine, who want to be chivalrous, who want to open the door. Put us somewhere else and separate us from the ladies who don't like any of that stuff. So for the guys out there that might be watching this video, just know that not all women want to be equal in absolutely every area of their lives, and that's okay. Some of us want the gentleman. We want to just take a step back and know that we don't have to do everything by ourselves, unlike what this generation is trying to make us all think and believe that we should be doing. I like to be treated like the lady that I am.
Here she gets closer to the truth. When the rules are unclear, nobody wants to play. Men are told opening doors, paying the bill, or leading is either sexist or expected. Every move becomes a trap. The result is paralysis. She wants chivalry without risk, but that only exists when roles are clear and appreciation is real. You can't demand masculine initiative while maintaining an environment that punishes it. When respect and predictability disappear, initiative dies with them. Men don't stop acting because they hate women. They stop because they no longer know what will be called offensive.
I don't know if anyone else relates to this, this juxtaposition in dating. So I'm just going to put it out there. Also, I'm waiting for my hair to set. That's why it looks like this. Okay, so in my early 20s, before I got in the relationship that I was in for a long time, now I'm single again, okay? But when I was younger, I was not very confident in how I felt. I don't think I looked as cute. I think I was always cute, but I was not as cute. I don't think I had an interesting life yet. I think I was ambitious, but I was still working out the kinks. I got approached left, right, and center. So many people wanted to take me on dates. They would approach me at bars. But now that I've been single for the past year, I feel confident in myself. I feel better in how I look now. And I think I have an interesting life now. In order to be interesting, you have to have interests. No one's approaching me, you guys. It's crickets for the past year. No one's taking me on one date. And I'm not complaining. I'm not saying I'm not in a rush to get into a relationship again, but I don't know what it is. Why don't men approach you when you're more confident and you figure out how you look? Like, hello, a tumbleweed. Sometimes I'll find out later after the fact through the grapevine or whatever that maybe someone that I crossed paths with thought I was cute, but they're not coming up to me and letting me know. So, like, what is happening? Literally, what is happening? I don't get it.
The paradox she describes isn't a mystery. When a woman is younger, unsure, and still in progress, she sends signals of openness, curiosity, and receptivity that invites men to act. When she becomes more confident, independent, and self-focused, her body language often shifts to self-protection, strict selectiveness, and I don't need anyone energy. Men don't approach closed shop windows. They approach open doors. It's not that she's less attractive, it's that her emotional vibe now signals distance, not invitation. And men, burned by rejection and humiliation, have learned to read that and pull back.
Ladies, this one's gonna sting, but most of the time it is not men ruining relationships. It is women sabotaging themselves. But first, let me explain. First is the victim mindset. If every argument turns into poor me, look what you did to me, you're not resolving the conflict. You're dodging accountability. Second, attention addiction. If you need outside validation, likes, stares, DMs to feel secure, you'll never be happy with the man that you're with. Third, lack of self-worth. If you drag your unhealed trauma into a relationship but refuse to face it and deal with it, you're making your partner pay for damage that they did not cause. These aren't just little habits. They are relationship killers. They destroy trust, create resentment, and eventually push away the man or woman you claim to love. And the hard truth, a lot of women would rather blame men than admit that they're guilty of these patterns. So before you say men are the problem, ask yourself, am I sabotaging my own relationship? Try to ask yourself that. If you're brave enough to admit that, you will change everything. If not, you're going to repeat the same cycle. Drop your take in the comments. I know this one is going to get a little heated.
She hits the nerve most people avoid. Internal patterns sabotage relationships more than external choices. When a woman is addicted to validation, carries unhealed trauma, and avoids accountability, she becomes emotionally expensive for any man who wants peace. Men don't leave because they hate commitment. They leave because it feels like stepping into a minefield. A healthy relationship needs two adults, not a therapist and a patient. A lot of lost female confidence comes from realizing their own habits push away the men they say they want. That truth hurts, but it sets you free.